Hi everybody, this is Katie Carney, and this is Katie Carney's Stitching, and I am back for Flosstube number, hang on, I have to look, 39. I'm horrible at remembering what Flosstube I'm on. Numbers, not my strong suit, apparently. Anyway, hi, it's been 3 weeks since my last video. It is the 7th of February. I wanted to film last week, but I have so much to tell you guys. So let's back up. First off, 3 weeks ago, I told you guys that I was in the January doldrums, and I was. And that, I didn't know when or if I was going to be able to get, the COVID vaccine. The rules had kept changing, and it was just constant. And I was obviously very stressed about it. And the pandemic fatigue is and was real. So that was Sunday. And then on Tuesday, the rules for the state of Pennsylvania changed yet again. My brother works he's an athletic trainer, so he helps athletes, but he works for a physical therapy company, and so he gets a little bit of the news sometimes a little faster than I do. And he sent me a message, and he's like, hey, they're changing the rules again. You're going to be eligible in phase 1A, which is where we are in Pennsylvania. So initially I had been in phase 1B, then they added a 1C, and then I got bumped to 1C, and like the entire population was moved to 1B, and it was a whole big thing. So anyway, I'm obviously high risk. So I got bumped again to 1A, and he said, they're going to announce where you're going to be able to get it. So ahead of the press conference, this was put on the state's website, and I was not messing around. I went on the website. I started calling places in my county that were listed, and one of the ones that was listed is Geisinger, and they're a insurance and hospital network. And I had their insurance for a long time, and I had to change because they refused to pay for my cardiologist because he was out of network. There is no other cardiologist who treats adults with hypertrophic cardiomyopathy. The next closest doctor was at NYU in New York City. There's an RN who works in Pittsburgh, in one of the Pittsburgh insurances, and Geisinger just refused to pay my cardiologist, who was at the time in Allentown. So I had to drop them. I'm on the exchange, so I chose to go with my current provider. So anyway, Geisinger is huge here, and they own most of the local practices and stuff. So they were last on my list to call because I knew I didn't have their insurance, and it was unlikely that they would cover me. But I called them, and the thing was, I needed to schedule for me and for Fra. So I needed to speak to someone. I didn't want to do it online. I wanted to talk to a human being. And I was patient. I sat on hold I go through all of Geisinger's prompts, and they kept saying, you can go to your patient portal. And I was like, well, I don't think I have one anymore. And I know Fra doesn't. So eventually I got someone, this lovely woman. She's my new best friend. She's having a baby in March. Everybody say a prayer for her. I got on the phone with her and I said, listen, I have this thing. I don't know how to prove it. Do I need to prove it? And she said no. And I said, my grandmother's 84. We both need it. And she's like, I can get you in on Friday, both of you together. And I was like, because I had said, I understand that it's probably going to be weeks out. That's fine. I just want to get it scheduled. Let's just get that ball rolling. And she's like, they changed the rules 20 minutes ago. And I was like, oh yeah, I don't mess around. So I got Fra and I scheduled. We had our first Moderna vaccine on the 19th of January. So yeah, a little over 2 weeks ago. I had very bad arm pain on Saturday. It felt like I got hit with a softball, and I was exhausted for days. But it was also, that girly time of month, if you take my drift. So I don't know if it was a mix of the vaccine and that or what. The next one is, from what I understand, the bad one. So what I did last time to prepare is I changed both of our sheets in case we got sick. I pre-ordered dinner. And I ordered enough so we had food for the next day. I made sure we had groceries. And I'll do the same thing for the second round. Just because, clean sheets when you're sick, food that you don't have to prepare. I like to be prepared. So anyway, I have to tell you, when the girl got it scheduled, one, I immediately jumped to they're going to run out. They're going to pop 1,000 and I'm not going to get one. But I cried. It was just such a release, and this feeling of like, yes, finally. It was great. The place we went they were a little behind, but they were like a well-oiled machine. The woman who was in charge kind of reminds me of me at our AWS conference, which I have dubbed a charming drill sergeant, because you're so nice to everybody, but you are very, very clearly in charge. And you are going to be so, so nice. But the people are going to listen to you. And I was like, whatever you tell me to do, like, we're good. You can give it to me in the parking lot. I don't care. So anyway, I got my vaccine. And then things, continued. But so for AWS, that's where I work. It's our renewal period. And we do a mass renewal on 12/31. It's auto renew. I think I've talked about it. I needed to print and send out those member cards. And normally I have help. My friend Susie from Binghamton and my friend Tara, my volunteers, come and help me. But there's a pandemic, and I didn't want them to, have to wear a mask while they worked with me. We couldn't go out to a restaurant. So I ended up doing the entire process myself, which took about 16 hours of off-time work and then about a day of while I was working work. So I went in, my day is done at 4:00, but I kept working. I went into the office on a Friday until a little after 9, and then I went back in the next day somewhere between 9 and 10 and was there until 9, and then I was done. But I was texting a little bit with Mark during the day, and he was like, yeah, I have to go to Philly. We're getting a blizzard. I'm going to go down early. And I was like, hey, I worked enough overtime. I don't have to work Monday, Tuesday. So we ended up going down to Philadelphia. We left Sunday around 10 a.m. I had 12 hours to figure out what I was bringing and pack and sleep and get ready. So when I was supposed to film last week, I was driving in the snow to Philadelphia. It's ironically enough snowing again now. It's snowed every day for a week. So we went to Philly. It was snowy, so there weren't a lot of people out, and there's a pandemic, so there's not a lot of people out. We ate at the place we ate for my birthday. It's our place. It's I don't know, we love it there, but they take your temperature in there. They're only at 25% capacity. And the food was fantastic. I miss eating out, guys. I love having someone bring me the food and fill my coffee cup. It's the best. Our hotel was nice. We've stayed there a couple times. It's a new hotel. It opened at the beginning of the pandemic. The sheets are kind of scratchy, though. And I got a lot of cross-stitching done. Of course, Monday morning, Mark gets a call at 7:30 as he's getting dressed to go down to the federal building that they've called off for snow. And he was like, well, already here. Oh, well. Anyway, we had a great time. And now that we're 9 minutes in, I have so much stitching to tell you about, so maybe I should shut up about my life. Anyway, I hope you enjoyed my little updates. Okay. So I have 4 FFOs. The first one has a bit of a tale. So I think you'll remember, I don't know if you'll remember. If you're new here, you definitely don't remember. But before Christmas, I started Teresa Kogut's Heaven and Nature. And I almost finished the first page before Christmas. And I think I had talked about the fact that I didn't love on her charts that they don't overlap. So if you're in the middle of a motif and your page ends here, you have to figure out on the next page where that is. So I pulled it back out to continue working on it. And I looked at it as I pulled it out of the bag and I said, I don't think it's going to fit. And then I got my ruler out and then I started counting. And about 20 minutes later, I figured out that it was not gonna fit. I was using a mix of the called for Fancy Floss and subbed in some DMC. I was using the called for 40 count WIPS parchment. And it wasn't gonna fit. So I immediately started messaging my friends. And Michelle McGraw, bless her heart, was like, finish it into a pillow. It'll be fine. Because I was like, I'm just throwing it out. I'll save the fabric and I'm going to throw the rest out. And I was like, oh, I don't know. I kind of never want to see it again. I'm one of those people who, when I like decide something is done, that's it. I'm done. So I, after some sleep, took her advice. And what I did was, so I had not quite finished. I had done all of this and this border down here. So I just continued this border up and around to finish it off. And then I just had to like finish a couple little things here. I didn't do any more motifs. That was it. And then I put it on some leftover Christmas fabric. And then I sewed some, I don't love this, but I sewed some ribbon on. And I think it's pretty cute. It's kind of a big pillow, but it'll fill up my dough bowl at Christmas time. And so I loved the colors and I loved the actual pattern, but I hated stitching on it. So this was kind of like God telling me it was okay and that I could, not finish it. So I turned it into a pillow. So this is my first FFO. It was pretty easy to make. And I'm happy to be finished that. And it is something off of my WIPS because it's done. And then I can't remember if I had told you guys in my last video, but I was very influenced again by Michelle McGraw. And she, in either her Whip Parade or her Flosstube, had talked about these Pineberry Lane, the 4 little smalls. And I have done 2 of them, and I don't think I'm going to do the others. I haven't decided yet. But I did 2. The first one I did were these 2 little ladies who I have finished into charming little... Hang on, my lap. Everything's sliding off. Into a charming little pillow. That is not really true to color. Let's see. I'm true to color, but the pillow's not. There we go. That's better. So I did forget her lips, which Michelle pointed out to me, and then I forgot again, and now it is finished into a pillow. This is leftover fabric from Mark's mom. She made me a mask out of this. So there's one. And then this is just a basket of shamrocks. And these are all, this is another tale of woe. So these are on 18 count, picture this plus, we think Wren. I got this on a stash unload on Facebook. And I was stitching with this fabric. Here it is. And every time I worked with it, my hands felt like they were covered in a weird film. And then I would smell them. And I smoked in high school and college. Bad habit, don't do it. Don't smoke. I would never do it again. But I did. And my mom smoked. So, like, I know what that smell is. And I know what the old smoke smell is. And I was working on this one. And I was like, man, it's my hands. They feel, And I figured out that whoever I bought it from didn't tell me that they smoked. So I was like, well, I'm going to take a chance. And I ended up washing the fabric in, it's called soak. It's a wool wash that you use in knitting. So I washed it in cold water and that in my bathtub. And I laid it out to dry. And the film is gone, and I'm going to continue using that piece of fabric, but I threw everything else away. A lot of it was stuff that she had, like, coffee tea dyed. and it was all Ada, and I was just like, no, because I knew if I washed the coffee tea dyed stuff, there would just be coffee and tea and smoke and everywhere. So it all went in the garbage, and I will never probably buy fabric on Stash Unload again. But I do love these little pillows. All that to say, I love these little pillows. And I still have quite a piece of the fabric left. So I will continue to use it, this piece, since I was able to wash it and salvage it. And then, also influenced by Michelle McGraw, my fourth FFO is from Country Rustic Primitives. I purchased several of their charts, but the first one was Grow Old With Me, The Best Is Yet to Be. So Mark's and my 4-year anniversary was the 4th, so a couple days ago. And I decided to make that for our anniversary. And I made it for him, but I'm keeping it because I don't think he's going to put a pillow up at his house. And then someday when we get married, it can be displayed in our house. So I started this in Philly on Monday, and I finished it that same day. So I love letters, as you guys know. So it says, Grow Old With Me, The Best Is Yet to Be. And I put 2017, which is when we started dating. I used the called for DMC. And then someone sent me a fat quarter of this beautiful fabric. So I pulled that. And then this is a DMC variegated. And I finally used my quarter. I had watched Vanna's tutorial, so I had a clue how to do it, and then I kind of messed around with it. When I use that again, which I definitely will, I love it, I will do it tighter. But for my first time, I don't think it's bad, and I think it really looks good with the fabric. And then this is filled with those plastic pellets, so I finished my bag of it with this. I'll probably leave this out most of the year in my dough bowl. So yay, 4 FFOs in 3 weeks. And I don't think I had started any of them. I don't remember. Now, let's go to WIPS, of which there are far too many because 3 weeks is a long time. So while I was in Philly, I started, and I haven't picked it up since. Hang on one second. It's in I don't want to show you the chart. It's a freebie from Ink Circles, and it is called My Danish Heart. Oh, my grandmother's up here. I can hear her. And I am doing the all red version, and I am using the same DMC that I used for Marks in my pillow. So that's what I have done so far. And I have not picked this up all week since I got home because minded my own business in Philly. 7 inches of snow there, 20 inches of snow here, and I put my finger through a hole in my favorite hand knit hat. Now it was like I was like 26, I think, when I made it, so it's not new. So when I came home, I pulled out some alpaca from my stash, and I started a hat. So this is what I've been working on when Fra and I watched the Great British Bake Off instead of working on smalls. This is on Ravelry. It's the Mundo, M-U-N-D-O hat pattern. My Ravelry is Cather Carr, so if you're interested, it's in my favorites because I've made it before. I think it was like $4 a while ago. I love this hat. So I'm almost done. I'm like 4.5 inches in, and I think at 6.5 you start the decreases. And then I have this in one of those seashell bags that Rika made. I might work on this afternoon just because I want to get it done so I have a hat again. So that was one of my WIPs. And then what I was working on during the Great British Bake Off before I started that hat was a stitch along with the Fat Quarter Shop. And it is the Stronger Together Sal for Black History Month. And I do not have a picture of the pattern here. I don't know what I did with it. I am using an 18 count Be Stitch Me fabric. It was her fabric of the month last month. And I started using 2 strands, and then I remembered that you're only supposed to use 1 for 18 count Aida. I think I prefer it with 2 strands, but so this is the quilt border for the outside, and I'm a little over halfway done with that. And then there'll be more quilting on the inside. I am using the called for DMC. Well, it might not be called for, the DMC conversion, I guess. No, it must be the called for DMC. I do like this. I will get back to this as soon as the hat is done. I did take this to Philly, but I finished a St. Patrick's Day piece, and then I started and finished Marks in my piece, and then I started the ink circles. The hotel didn't have great light, so the nice thing about the Wren fabric is it's very, very easy to see. I didn't have any difficulties. So that's another WIP. Sorry that you can't see the original. I'm only just getting started. So on Saturdays, except for not last Saturday because I worked for 12 hours, I work on, and this is with Vanna Pfeiffer and the Big Bap Christmas Sal, I think it's called. So this is Christmas Spirit by Lavender and Lace. I have a lavender and lace problem. Love it all. And I made some good progress on this 3 Saturdays ago. I'm actually going to work on this today, even though it's Sunday. So the last time you saw this, I was to about here, and I continued down, and I did that candle. So that's how that's going. I love this piece. I think the reds are so pretty. My candle is not at all perfect. I'm still quarter stitches and half stitches and something I'm working on. So anyway, this is what I'm going to work on this afternoon, because I didn't work on it yesterday because when I got home from Philly, it was the 2nd of February, which meant it was time to pull out Consider the Lilies and work on page 2. So I am doing Consider the Lilies with Made by Michelle McGraw and on Instagram and YouTube, and Sarah K Stitches on Instagram. And we are doing a Sal, and it is a sparrow among the lilies. I hope that you guys will join us. This is a long hauler. My goal is a page a month, because then I'm seeing progress, and I know that I'll finish it in 2 years because it's 24 pages. So this is Heartstring Samplery, and this is the big one that she came out with at market last year. And I did page 2. Ooh, and now the pattern's on the floor. I did page 2 when I came back from Philadelphia. Hang on one second. So page 2 started right here and went over. So there it is. Oh, it's so pretty. Her use of color, I think, is just genius. And then where I've left the threads, it's because it was like in the middle of a motif, so I knew I'd be picking it back up. So this weird looking thistly flower, I feel like I'm in the Scottish section, took a long time, but I finished this first half of the moth last night around 9 o'clock. So I will see this again at the beginning of March. I love this chart. It's really a joy. So if you're not stitching it, this one or His Eye on the Sparrow, which is not my favorite because it's more animals than flowers. Please, please, please join us. I am using hang on, I have it written down. It's 36 count. Hang on. How many WIPS do I have? Here we go. Okay, it's 36 count R&R Winter's Brew, and I am using the called for Fancy Floss. A couple of them of the weeks are converted to Classic Colorworks. But so far, I think all the conversions are working really well. They were converted by Needlework Corner in Baltimore, which is where I kitted the project up from, and I highly recommend that store. Next is another new start and a finish, because I'm going to do these individually. So, as I've said before, I got into cross-stitching specifically to make Country Cottage Needleworks Gingerbread Village, or Glitter Village. I have to stop saying Gingerbread Village. I made that for Mark, but this one's for me, Mark's mother. So this, I started with house number 6 because when I purchased the patterns from Threads Entwined, she sent me the fancy floss for the house. So I'm using, if I have the fancy floss, and if I don't, the DMC. And when I run out of the fancy floss, I will just go to the DMC. Because, like, it calls for bamboo. Guys, bamboo, there's no color to it at all. It's white. And then I am using the DMC Diamante. It doesn't matter. I love it. This was really, really easy to work with. I highly recommend. Maybe I'll never have to use Krynic again. This was very, very quick. I am using the called for raw silver, and it is a 32 count, and it's very, very cute. So there's the first one. I have a big piece of fabric, but I am going to make these into pillows. My long-term goal is to have all of them in a dough bowl, and then above it to have kringles. But we'll see. We shall see. So that's a start and a finish. In the last 3 weeks, that took, like, they're so fast, like 2 days maybe. If that, I don't remember. And then I have one more whip. That's it, one more whip. My face, when I go out of focus, does the weirdest thing. So I think I told you guys that I am concentrating on Lady of the Flag this year because I want to get her done. So here she is. So this is Mirabilia's Lady of the Flag. And I purchased, after watching Vanna Pfeiffer's last video, she talked about where she gets her scroll rods, because I wanted to get Lady of the Flag onto scroll rods so that I could start doing the back stitching and the beads right away. And then I decided, after I got the roller frame, that I didn't want to do that because I wanted to be able to really iron it. So I ordered these from her local needlework shop, and they came super fast. But I had to buy like a 34-inch length rod. It's huge. But let's unfurl her. So last time I worked up. So I did her arm and her face. And then you can see, so there's still, she's big. My plan is on Monday I will start working. I'll finish her face and the flag, and then the top part will be done except for the back stitching and the beads. She is pretty big, very, very pretty. I love her. I'm glad I'm working on her so much, but when I put her away, I'm ready for her to go away for a little bit. It's a lot of work. It's a lot of like, because it's full coverage, it's just a lot of like really thinking about it. But I definitely think she'll be worth it when she's done. And I do like the roller frames, so I finally got them. I'm sure some of you were around in March or April when I ordered them, and then 4 months later I had to go through PayPal and dispute the purchase because I wasn't hearing back from the store that I had purchased them from, and I didn't get them. So, Lady of the Flag on roller frames. I really do like them. I have the Shire, which I will work on this week. I bought a smaller set, like a smaller bar, so we'll see if I like the Shire on them. So when my plan with Lady of the Flag is to do this page, because I made photocopies of it, so it's broken into pages. So I'll do this part of the flag and the other part of her face next. I'm also trying to figure out if I can pay anyone to bead her for me. Okay, so now my plans, my haul, and some Stitchy Kindness. So first off, my haul, a lot of it was ordered before my video 3 weeks ago. So there's a little more than probably I need. So first off, I am in the Be Stitch Me Fabric of the Month. And 1 month I get her the like natural one as the Ada, and then the next month I get that as a 32 count. And then I get the crazy one as either the 32 count or the Ada. So my January fabrics were 18 count Ada in a honey, which I really like. I'll definitely get a lot of use out of that. And then the 32 count was flamingo, and I have no idea what I'm going to do with that. None. It's very bright. And then I had 2 gift cards to 123 Stitch, and they were both gifts, obviously. Thank you very much. I decided to finish my collection of Little House Needleworks Early Americans. So I had 3 of these, and I got the rest in. So, Stitching with the Sisterlies, she is doing these and turning them into quilt blocks. And I'm going to copy her. So instead of using the called for fabric, my plan is to use 25 count Lugana. So it'll be bigger. So they'll be big quilt blocks. So this is not, it won't be anytime soon. Hopefully after Lady of the Flag, but we'll see. And then I also got one of my missing Prairie Schooler Santas. Now I'm really only short 2. And Babushkas Blossoms. So a babushka is a headscarf that you wear, and sometimes they'll call old ladies in Eastern European languages babushkas. I have several babushkas. I actually have one that So in Poland, each village or part of the country has a like floral print that is their traditional floral print. So I have a wool babushka that was purchased by Fra in Poland from her village. She went to Poland the first time right before communism fell, like 89 or 90. So she like visited her family. They were still living like on a farm with no electricity in 1990. Communism. So I love this. So this will be a fall start, definitely. I've never done a Plum Street sampler, so it's on the list. And then I feel like, oh, I do have more haul. I purchased a couple more Country Rustic primitives. So I have this one for St. Patrick's Day. which I hope to start soon. And then I got an Easter small. So this is He Is Risen. I'm going to do the cross in the called for, but then where it says He Is Risen, I'm going to do purple. Easter color. And then I also got that little bunny for spring. I thought that was really cute. And then I am getting monthly from Needlework Corner in Baltimore, Heartstring Sampler's monthly Sunday stitches. The first month was Amazing Grace, and this just came Friday. We didn't get mail for a week, so this finally came. And then I also got Winter Rose Manor, which everybody and their cousin is doing. I didn't know, so I don't have all the fancy floss, and I don't know when I'm going to start this, but they don't do a DMC conversion, so I'm going to have to either find one or convert it myself, because a lot of people who have stitched it have had issues, particularly with the house color, so I'm just going to use a DMC. So those came, and I think that's it for haul, but I got a lot of Stitchy Kindness. So first, my plans are, Ash Wednesday is very quickly approaching, so I'm going to start from Leisure Arts. I've showed you guys this before. So this is going to be my Ash Wednesday start this year. And I have the called for beads and DMC. I'm missing one DMC I have to find. And I'm going to use, it calls for, hang on, let me find it. It calls for, why doesn't it say? Oh, here we go. 2 strands on 32 count Belfast linen. I am going to use from my Color and Cotton last year this lovely gray color that's called Requiem, and this is 32 count, and I love it, so that's perfect. And I have that in this very pretty bag I made. Isn't that pretty? I love it. So that's my Ash Wednesday start this year. And then I got some Stitchy Kindness. I got too much Stitchy Kindness. And I'm not going to show it all because we'd be here for a month. But a couple of the highlights, thank you very much, were this Joy in the Journey. And so this is by Diane Williams. And it was for Leisure Arts. But I'm assuming, is this the same woman from Little House Needleworks? That's her name, isn't it? Diane Williams? I think this is so cute. So I got that, and it was mostly a box of like fabric and patterns, but the thing that I am most excited about was lovely little, they sent me these beautiful French General fabrics. So I can't wait to do something with these. I don't know what, but you should. It's so pretty. It's very me. And then I sent one of you who lives in Wyalusing, which my brother used to work in Wyalusing. It was called ProCare at the time, and then he was the athletic trainer at the high school. I sent her a couple of the 2021 charms, and she very kindly sent me this cute little angel on high. I love that. Can't wait to stitch it. It's a little kit. Thank you very much. And then Michelle had purchased a few charts in double. So she sent me a couple of the Country Cottage Needleworks Frosty Friends. And these are a guilty pleasure of mine. I love Country Cottage Needleworks. They can do no wrong in my eyes, so I'm looking forward to a dough bowl full of these someday. I just need like 1 million more hours to stitch. Although, man, I got a lot of stitching done in 3 weeks. But, like, I mean, there's a pandemic. What do? I work, and I'm still... So I'll go back to the office after I get my second dose. I'll probably take that whole next week to be at home still, and then after that, I go back to the office. So, but like for now, I don't go to the office, so I have no commute time, so I just stitch. Sometimes I stitch before work. So I stitch, and I cook, and I sleep, and I work. Anyway, I had a giveaway last time, which I now have to dig out of the bottom of my bag. And it was for buttons and beads. It was for the laundry room. I had 20 comments. There you all are written out. And my handwriting is bad. And I asked my house robot in there to pick a number between 1 and 20, and she picked 15. And that is, you can't tell, it says Coco, but it's Rocio. So Rocio, I already have a package ready for you, so I'm just going to put this in there. So congratulations. I guess I need your new address for like the 5th time, because we both know I didn't write it down yet. So I don't have a giveaway for today. Hopefully next time. I was just not that organized. You should see around me. You can see that I was not that organized. It's a mess. But it was so nice catching up with you guys and giving you my good news about the vaccine and telling you that I got to go away for a couple days and have a wonderful break. Like I said, it's snowing here again. We have 20 inches. That's just getting another 3 or 4 today, so yay shoveling. I'm going to make something delicious for lunch, and then I'm going to stitch all afternoon. I was working on project bags this morning for Jen and I got about 4 of the 10 done, and I was like, I'm done. I had enough. So I do them in phases. So like first I cut them all, and then I attach all of the Velcro, and then, well, I could show you. So I did all of these bags yesterday. So the first thing I do is I go through and I attach the Velcro, and then I do this, and then I iron it, and then I add, also I kept this one because I missed, and then I add this binding. And so I did everything, and I was doing the binding on all the bags, and I got 4 done, and I was just like, I've had enough. My machine, the needle unthreads a lot, and eventually I'm just like, I'm gonna throw the whole thing out the window. I've had enough. And that's how I felt today. So I'm gonna stitch this afternoon after I clean up this disaster. Anyway, it was really, really good to catch up with you guys. Thank you for your kindness. Your comments last time about my doldrums meant the world. I enjoyed reading every single one of them. I enjoy checking in with you guys on Instagram, and I look forward to talking to you again, hopefully in 2 weeks. So stay safe, and thanks for being my friend. Bye! Well, bye as soon as I hit the stop button.